Hey guys, Rascal here and welcome to another Rascal Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing a SpongeBob Christmas. Or it's a SpongeBob Christmas if you want to make it incredibly specific. Now this is not to be confused with the animated special Christmas Who. This is actually another standalone Christmas special made much later after the first few seasons of the classic series. This one is done completely in stop motion and it's a tribute to Santa Claus coming to town from Rankin and Bass. And a little fun fact about it, this one was actually written by the voice of SpongeBob, Tom Kenny. And one of the biggest things about the special is that around the time this aired, SpongeBob was not doing so well on TV. Now, I'm not saying that his ratings went down or losing. He did lose a little viewership, but his ratings didn't go down the slightest. It's just that some people did not find these latter seasons of SpongeBob that good. It seemed like after the 3 seasons and the first movie, the quality of SpongeBob seemed to change. Now, personally, I do like the first 3 seasons of the movie and the latter seasons a little less. There were some good episodes, but I personally didn't care for a majority of the later seasons. It felt like it had lost its magic, and I don't know if that's because of Steven Hillenburg leaving at some point, or they had new writers in charge, or Nickelodeon got involved. But when this special came out, it was a hit because it felt like a breath of fresh air for a lot of the OG SpongeBob fans. The ones who've been there from the beginning had noticed that a lot of the humor in SpongeBob just really wasn't hitting anymore. And with this, Tom Kenny being in charge, it felt like they had gone back to the roots of what made SpongeBob work. And I can absolutely agree with that because a lot of people, including me, love that Tom Kenny was in charge of this because it looks like he really knew what he was doing with this. He really understood his character. I mean, he should. He's been voicing him for over a decade now. But I really like that he was in charge of it and it didn't feel like he was just doing a run-of-the-mill TV special. Now, the main thing in here, besides the animation and the tribute to the Rankin and Bass specials, is that everyone seems to be way more in character in here. A majority of the characters have been classified as being flanderized, and by that they mean they're exaggerating a lot of their key traits, like SpongeBob's naivety, Patrick's idiocy, Squidward being a jerk, Sandy being into science, and it felt like they were kind of just going in way too much on it. So when this was written, it felt like they were back to their original personalities in the first 3 seasons. And the only thing SpongeBob was still naive, but he wasn't naive to a degree where he was oblivious to just about everything around him. And for this special, Plankton wanted to ruin Christmas for everybody, and he thought by making everybody into pretty much a Grinch, he'd be able to get the Krabby Patty formula. And it was like, what does one have to do with the other? I'm not really sure, but whatever. And he puts a sort of they call it a jerktonium into the fruitcake. And whoever eats the fruitcake, they literally turn into a jerk. And they have this hilarious farting sound effect that comes out when they eat it, like they turn to crap. I don't know if that was the intention or not, but either way, that was actually a hilarious way to add to it. And what happens is that everybody is pretty friendly around this time of year, aside from Squidward, who's just a jerk 24/7, and Patrick, who wants to capture Santa. And the only thing that's a little off about the special would be the subject of Santa. When they had the first episode for the holidays, Christmas Who, they established Santa was a real human. He was from the surface like Sandy. So when he showed up in the ocean, it was a live-action Santa. And I don't know how he breathed underwater. I'm just going to assume Christmas magic. And when they got to this particular special, they had changed Santa. He's still human-ish, but I guess they want to make him look like an elf because of the animation change. And he was perfectly fine underwater. People knew he existed. And because if you remember in the first one, they thought SpongeBob was lying to them after he didn't show up because they forgot to be told that you have to go to sleep for Santa to show up. Here, they're fully aware of Santa Claus. He's well-known Bikini Bottom. He visits. He comes in a parade like a parallel to the Macy's Thanksgiving parade. They have a Christmas parade for him. And he's pretty well-known for Bikini Bottom, so he's like a little bit of a celebrity during the holidays. kind of ironic, but it's also a little odd that that's what they went with. Maybe they thought that would fit better with the universe, because when they actually have a third special later, Santa lives underwater altogether. So do the reindeer, and are giant, buff, manly reindeer, and it's the weirdest thing. Like, every special, Santa changes in every Christmas special for SpongeBob. So I'm just gonna let this slide as just being a standalone thing, and you weren't supposed to take it too seriously. Now, the story itself is classic. It feels like classic SpongeBob. And when SpongeBob notices all of the citizens acting like jerks, it's up to him to save the day. And one of the best parts for me and Mom Entertainment is that when they ask how come the jerk trolling doesn't affect SpongeBob when he eats the fruitcake, is that because it couldn't overpower his tiny brain and his big sweet heart, and that's why he was never affected by it. And so he was the only one that could fix it. And the way for him fixing it was singing the song that became really well known for SpongeBob was "Don't Be a Jerk, It's Christmas." And I also need to add with that, the songs in here actually were pretty good. The last few SpongeBob songs they had done up to this point were just sort of mediocre. I mean, I liked the Best Day Ever song. Even as it is redundant, I kind of like the tone, and it's really upbeat and happy. I just don't think they should have done a ratings trap for it. But I did like that song, and some of the songs in there aren't so bad, but a lot of them just kind of feel like they were trying to add some things to a soundtrack or album to sell down the road. But I would buy a SpongeBob Christmas CD where it's just all of the holiday songs from there, and I think that would definitely sell. It's a really fun special, and it really not only captures the holiday spirit that these types of specials everyone loves to watch during this time. It really went back to the roots of SpongeBob. Tom Kenny truly understood his character that he voiced. It wasn't just he voiced the character but didn't know him. He truly loved SpongeBob, both as a character and as his voice actor and as a show as a whole. And it showed when he wrote this, because this felt like old SpongeBob. It felt like something you would watch every year, just like Rankin and Bass. He perfectly captured it. And a lot of people wish that he would write some more episodes. I don't know if Nickelodeon just doesn't allow him to, or he chose not to do any more besides this. But it was one of the best SpongeBob episodes after Hillenburg left. And lots of people wish he would write either more holiday specials or just more specials in general. He even wrote I believe he wrote the Halloween one as well, which was another well done one that I'll cover in October as well, just like with the Great Pumpkin. It's a really well done special. You can watch it as part of the regular series or just a standalone like we do. And I definitely recommend it to those who never watched it. There's a slim chance you haven't, because this was a pretty huge deal when it came out. And even though SpongeBob's quality can vary from time to time, and most people have different opinions on SpongeBob now because of the latter seasons, the passing of Hillenburg, and the announcement that SpongeBob was going to be ending in a few years. So everyone's going to have a different opinion on this special and SpongeBob as a whole. Personally, I really love the special. I watch it every year, like Charlie Brown Christmas and many other films. I think it's one of the best SpongeBob episodes and one of the best Christmas specials ever made. I definitely recommend it to anyone who loves watching these types of things during the holiday season. You watch it by themselves, with friends, or with family, or your pet. Now, if you have not seen A SpongeBob Christmas, I recommend watching it immediately and then tell me what you think in the comments below. If you have seen it, let me know if you love it, just like me and lots of other SpongeBob fans. Do you just like it but think it's a little overrated and you just like it as is? Or do you really not care for it and you'd rather just have Christmas Who? I'm pretty much okay with any opinion you have. Just please be courteous in the comments. And don't be afraid to tell me how you really feel about the special, because I am perfectly fine with any opinion you have on it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next holiday review. Later!